Welcome back everyone to another tutorial. Today we're going to continue the Metroid series while initiating jump, and what I'm going to make is here a single jump but also a double jump. Pretty cool. We will also add a feature which enables you to make these small jumps or higher jumps and also combine these with each other. And of course, if you fall, you will also start spinning and you will detect the ground. So by the end of this tutorial, you will be able to check for the ground with a simple code. You will be able to add the jump animations to your animator and optimize the animator in general. You will also add a normal jump function, a multiple jump function, and also a variable height of jump. So making a low jump when you hit the spacebar shortly and a higher jump if you hit it longer. Also, I noticed there are some tilemap gaps, and I will show you at the beginning of this tutorial how to fix those. So let's get right into it. Perhaps you might have noticed that sometimes the background, there are some lines appearing in the grid, and I shortly want to fix this. So I'm just going to go here to the wall, set tiles. I'm going to open up GIMP or any let's say picture editor you have. GIMP is for free, which is very handy, of course. I'm just going to drag in here the wall slides. Going to zoom in. I'm just going to take this one and I'm going to scale it up there and down here, and I'm going to press scale. So now it became much bigger. I'm just going to include it here. I'm going to export as PNG and just replace the file in Unity. So I'm not making anything new. There we go. Do I want to save this project? Nope. I'm just going to discard that. And now you can see it got bigger here. So if I go to the sprite editor, now it's big. And for some reason, there's always like these small gaps. And now these should be filled. And if we go back now into the game, especially on these, let's say, lines, they shouldn't appear anymore. Now the issue is around these heads, the same issue is available. So you can fix that in the same way. So as you can see, because it cuts it not very nicely, there are still like some lines alongside this. So the easiest way to do is just put some more color around these edges. I know it's kind of annoying, but please do this in when you have time to make it all nice. And this happens with a lot of tile sets. So, I mean, this is the easiest fix. By the way, what I also did for this one is I reduced the movement speed a little bit, and I made the player size 5. So I changed just a little. I just played around with it. I made the gravity scale 2. Yeah, and that's it. So today, let's implement the ground check and the variable jump and double jump. So let's get into, first of all, the animation, and let's create a new clip of jump. There was player animations. It's the jump in the animator. There's now also a jump, and we're just gonna call this from any state. And what we're gonna add here is another bool, which is called it's grounded. And what we're gonna do is make transitions already here, and there's no exit time. As exit time. There we go. And what we're gonna do is grounded is false, and here we're gonna say is grounded is true, and also no exit time. I just want to have this in instant. Let's go to the animation. We didn't add that yet. Let's go here to jump, and I don't want to first. I just want these. So I'm just gonna take the jump 2 to 6. I can drag it out apart a little bit if I want to, but I can also just leave it. If I play it now, you can see it will be like turning like this, which is quite nice. And also the jump is here set up in regard to the grounded function. All right, so let's get back into the code and write our jump and is grounded. So let's go to the player, find the controller, and open it in C#. So let's first off start with the grounded. And for the grounded, we will need a couple of items first of all. A public transform, which is, let's say, a game object, or it could be a game object. And we call this the ground check. Whoops. And we also want to have a public layer mask. And in the first, or in the last video, I also showed you the layer mask of ground. And the public layer mask, we can check what is ground. And we can select it there. So if we go now to the player here, we can see now here the ground check and what is ground. We can select now all the different layers. And what is ground is then the ground. And ground check, what we want to do is add a empty and drag it, let's say, to the feet. And then from there, we can do the ground check. And let's go back to the player. And we just drag in this ground check here. This is the transform. All right. But we also have to draw a gizmo or make a circle there. So for that, we would need an additional public float. And what we could do is we could just make all the things here together for ground check. And let's do public float. And this is the, let's say, ground check circle. And we also want to add a bool, which is a private bool. And this one is grounded because we also need this again for the animator later. So let's say this ground check, bool, animator, everything is in there. That's great. We're going to make the same for jumping in a bit, so to keep it clustered. And now let's write the code. Let's just do this here at the bottom. What we're going to do is a private void, and let's call it check environment. So checking either ground or perhaps walls later. And let's do it like this. And this one is then is grounded, which is the bool, is physics 2D. And then we make a let's say a gizmo. We draw a raycast and we call this overlap circle. And we're going to go with the ground check dot position. So that's the position of the game object we made earlier. And we're making it the side of the ground check circle. And we want to check the layer mask on what, not weight, what is ground. And while we're here, we can also update the animator right away. So animator, we can do set bool, and we're gonna do is grounded, is grounded. And of course, this check environment, we need to, let's say, update every second. In the fixed update, we're just gonna do check environment. And to actually see the circle, which we could also draw a gizmo. And we can do this by private void on draw gizmos, draw y-sphere, ground check, dot position, ground check circle, and of course write this one. So if you go now here, and we have to make, let's say here 1, and then we can see here the gizmo. The gizmo is on. It's a little bit big. Let's make it 0.2, 3, something like this. Seems okay. So and now you can already see if correct. And let's not maximize on play. And the animator as well, we can see that he's now grounded. So let's get back in C# and let's write the code. So let's make there a couple new things. Also, let's make this then related to running and flipping. And let's make now one jumping floats. And the first one will be a public float. And this is the jump force. And by default, we can already put here something. Let's put 8 or something, 0.0 frames. What we also need is a public float. And this one will be the full multiplier. And we need a public float with the low jump multiplier. And those are the three main floats which we need. Then we need a public int, an integer, with the available jumps. And let's make it standard 1. And then we want a private int with available jumps left. We'll also need a private bool, which is the can jump bool, because we want to check, of course, also if the player actually can jump or not, based if it's grounded or not. Then at the start of the first frame, we always want to check how many jumps there are. So let's just do available jumps left is available jumps. There we go. And let's now write the code. So first of all, in the check input part, we want to have if input dot get button down is the jump button, then we want jump. And I hate this device for doing that, because I just want this here. Jump. And then we write the private void jump. And here we do RB velocity is new factor 2. And then we do again RB velocity dot x, comma, the x we don't do anything, we do then here the jump force. Thank you very much, not the jump force. Yes, and what we also do is available jumps left minus minus, which will then reduce the available jumps. What we also want to do is to check if we actually can jump. So these are the jumps. So let's make here a new private void. And we call this one check if can jump. And we do this by checking first of all if it's grounded, is grounded, and RB velocity of the y is below 0, but I don't want to go below 0. I'm just want to put it at 2 or 3, because if I run up a slope, because if it thinks, if you're going up a slope, then it also thinks like, you're jumping, so you cannot jump. So I also want to be able to jump on slopes. So I'm just going to put here, let's say 3. And what I want to do is available jumps left is available jump. And then if available jumps left, whoops, shit, is smaller than 0, then can jump is false. Else can jump is true. And of course, we have to always check in during the update if we can jump. Check if can jump. There we go. And now one part which we didn't cover yet are the fall multiplier and low multiplier. And these are just a couple of easy lines in the update. And let's add those as well. We're going to make an if statement here. If RB velocity of y is below 0, that's where the magic happens, then we are going to, let's say, increase the fall rate. So we're going to say rb.velocity is factor 2 up times, whoops, physics 2d dot gravity dot y times, whoops, where is it? The full multiplier minus 1 times time dot delta time. Yes. Else if we're going to do rb dot velocity dot y, and this should be then not, sorry, greater than 0, and well, I keep on mistyping today. We have a negative input dot get button, right? Get button, and the button should be then the jump button, and then we close it, and then we go rb.velocity plus equals factor 2 up. Then we're going to do the same trick as before again, times physics 2d dot gravity dot y times, thank you, low jump multiplier minus 1 times, keep on mistyping at 1, delta time. Great, and this should be the complete code for the jump. Now let's go back in Unity. And now I see a small warning that the can jump function is not assigned. And let's go back to the script. This should be then in the jump. So I forgot there's something. My apologies. Where is my jump? Whoops. Here it is. And here I forgot to put the can jump. So here we want to have if can jump. And let's please put this here. And let's close it here again. And let's remove this one. There we go. As you can see, it doesn't look so nice right now. This one should be, let's say, out here, and this one here. And now the function can jump is actually used. So now that we're back in Unity, we can see all the new features we have here. And first of all, let's put a full multiplier, and perhaps let's do like 2.5 or something, and low jump multiplier 3. Available jumps 1 or 2, we can unlock it perhaps later, but let's just do 2 to test it now. Perhaps also let's increase the jump force a little bit to 12, so we can really differentiate between the small jump and the high jump. So once we've set up now these figures, let's have a look once more shortly here. What's important is that there is no exit time here selected, so it will actually turn here. And here there is also no exit time, but it's important to have at least this jump range in there so that it will actually spin. So make sure that this is in. If you put it down there, then you won't see any jump animation. So it's better just to put it here, and then let's test it out. And let's just move here, perhaps below this rock. If I press now once shortly, you can see it's jumping into the rock. If I press a little bit longer, it's higher. If I press very long, it comes above the rock. This can all be controlled with this multiplier, the low jump multiplier, and also the fall multiplier. And if I press now twice, I can jump twice, and I can press twice high, or I can combine small jumps, high jump, small jump. And here we go. This is pretty cool. This works pretty well. Let's shortly go on full screen so we can enjoy what we've created so far. So the running works now well, the single jump and the double jump. We also have quite some air control, which is pretty cool and makes for a snappy game. Very cool. So in the next tutorial, let's try to actually make the first unlock system. So the idea is that you run here with a single jump and then get here the upgrade from the face, and this will enable you to double jump to access the next part of the dungeon, where we can then unlock a couple of more abilities, which we also have to code again. So thank you all for watching and see you in the next one.